Hey, I just thought I'd make a short little video just talking in general about some of the ideas that I've accumulated over the years with leaving gospel tracts door to door. So I've been leaving gospel tracts door to door evangelism since maybe 2005-ish. I actually started out by having something that looked like this, very similar to this piece of paper here. And I used to go around and scotch tape this to like the glass part of a storm door, and I would just stick it on there. And yeah, I was really passionate back then about getting the gospel out, and I would actually go by cover of night. I would go out like around 9 o'clock, even 10 o'clock at night. Again, like if you know my story, I'm very shy, very anxious, a lot of social anxiety. Just don't want to be seen, don't want to talk to anybody, but I was still passionate about getting the gospel out. So when you're, what I have learned anyway, when you're very passionate, you will find a way, regardless of whatever limitations you have. And well, back then, like, okay, everyone to get the gospel out, and that's just how I did it. One of the ways, and got a lot of fun stories that have accumulated over the years, but nothing that was like hindering or discouraging. Like I never had a bad experience, and I was never like stopped or yelled at or prohibited for doing anything like that. But anyway, leaving gospel tracts door to door, it's a very good way to saturate entire areas with the gospel. Whether it's like your neighbors, if you want to reach your neighbors, that's a great way. Or if you want to go to another part of town or even a different city entirely. I've done all of that stuff. You can go by yourself, or you can go with a team to cover a larger area. I know somebody, like for example in Chicago, I mentioned this before. He let's see, I think his name is Wayne. Him and his crew, they reached, I want to say it was like 500,000 houses or something. It was like a very large number, and they would keep a record of it, and then they would just move on to the next area and then the next one and so on. You can make this very adventurous. Now, of course, you're outside, you're getting fresh air. I can talk up those benefits, sure, but and there is a real adventurous feel about it. Beyond the exercise, getting fresh air and all that stuff, I shouldn't have to try to talk it up and like, oh, you can get your steps in if you're trying to like lose body fat or whatever. I mean, sure, if you want to put that in there, you can go ahead, but it really does give you an adventurous feeling, knowing, of course, what you are doing, but then moving your body and just partaking in something that's more than just like sitting around or even talking to somebody, which is great too, by the way. You can even strike up a conversation doing this. So, yeah, I just thought we'd talk in general, maybe remember some of the things that I have done in the past. I don't have like that much for notes or anything. I just thought I'll wing it and just talk about it. I am starting up my 100 ways to use gospel tracts videos. I started that a few years ago. I was going to do 100 plus ways, very short videos of how you can use gospel tracts, and door to door is one of them. And I wanted to do that video, but then attach to this video in the comments section of that in case people want more information. Now, I do have a bunch of other videos on my YouTube channel here at Parade of Gospel, spanning from the last like 8 years or however long it's been since I've had this channel, since 2017, so almost 9 years now. So you can go back and try to find those, but again, I've never had any issues. A lot of funny stories though. Maybe I'll just mention back in 2005 when I started doing this, I went out by myself by cover of night, like I said, and there's like, so nobody had Ring cameras back then, but people did have those sensor lights that would go on if you go by their front door or whatever. And there's been a couple of times I remember, because I go so late at night sometimes, that would go on and I would freak out and like run off or whatever. And nothing too funny, but yeah, I'm just reminiscing of like all the different memories that happened back then. Sorry, I'm sick with the flu, just trying to get over it right now, so my voice might crack and I might cough a little bit here and there. Let's see, but yeah, there's a lot of different ways you can do it. You can attach it in between like the storm door. You can hang it on with a bay. Let me just show you how it goes right here. Now, this I made back in like 2017, I think it was. It was a movie that Ray Comfort came out with. I'm not sure if the website works anymore. You can type in the Exit movie, and they had to like take down that movie and replace it with a different name, I think, because the word suicide was in it or whatever. And that's my thinking anyway. But nevertheless, the point is, and if you go back to my list of videos on YouTube, you click on like oldest videos, this is going to come up like within the first, I don't know, 10 or 15 videos, because that was one of the first things I did with this channel. But I made, this right here, and then I actually punched a hole in the corner and put a rubber band through it, and I would hang it on the door that way. Excuse me. And I also made up my own gospel tracts. I did something else for Ray Comfort. I don't know if I have it, or I do have it, but I can't find it right now for this video. But I have a list of their movies and such, and then I, on the back, wrote a gospel presentation, and I would hang those on doors as well. So a few other examples. You can actually, my daughter made this. I love what she did there, but this is the Gospel of John. But you can actually put something in a Ziploc bag, like a sandwich bag, and just put it by their front door. Now, with these, I actually put the gospel tract on the back side of it right there, as you can see. So I like this idea because, well, first of all, it's weatherproof, and you don't have to worry about opening a door or anything, or even like going up to the door necessarily. You can just like toss it. Excuse me. Toss it onto their front door like a big newspaper. I used to be a paper boy, so I know what that's like. So that's a great way. This one right here, you can buy these door hanging bags for pretty cheap online, and just hanging on their door. So that works real good. This one I think I got at the dollar store. It's in a Christmas bag. I'm not sure how old this is. This bag might like fall apart if I stretch out just a tiny bit. But you just kind of force a hole in there with your fingers, kind of break through it, and hang it on your door. I've done that before. This is the Why Christianity book from a Comforts Ministry. This right here is a Gospel of John from Living Waters, and again, you can use the sandwich bag idea or the door hanging idea. But one time, I actually just threw this by their front door just like that. I mean, it's kind of like a newspaper in a way. Yeah, it's pretty sturdy, and it's not going to blow away. It's heavy enough, so you can do that. I won't lie. One time I was actually in a different city delivering gospel tracts in newspaper boxes, but I think it was this one. I had a bunch of these left, and I was actually just tossing them like a newspaper from the street. Probably not the best idea, but maybe with my 10 years of newspapering experience, I was able to get it on their front porch, each of the throws. I think like one time I didn't make it, and I set my bike down, and I ran up there and grabbed it and put it on their porch. But yeah, like I said, there's an adventurous component to all of this. Those are just a few examples of what you could do. Let's see. I'm looking at my notes for the short video I want to make. Pretty much covered. I mean, it's really kind of self-explanatory. There's not really much else to say. I do, however, want to talk about, you can print off a map of your area, and if you want to do this by yourself or with a group of people, sure, you can just wing it and just do whatever you want. Even if you just want to go out one day and just, hey, I'm gonna be determined to do 5 houses or whatever it is, and you just go for a walk. Okay, I'm gonna pick that house, and just to encourage yourself, maybe, and just run up there and put something up there, or toss a gospel tract, whatever it is. I know, people nowadays, they have Ring cameras. It's crazy how many people have those now. Maybe if that makes you more nervous, I don't know. I wouldn't worry about it, but that's the benefit if you want to travel to a different city or across town or whatever it is, because you're afraid of, I don't know, whatever you might be afraid about. I'm just speaking from my own experience of my own shyness and whatever, that like, oh, what if somebody like captures me on their Ring camera and they post it on Facebook, and now everybody, they find out it's me doing it or something. I don't know. Don't be ashamed of the gospel, for one, but maybe that it helps to be more encouraged to go with a group of people. And, it really helps you not be as nervous, or not just walk by yourself, but go with other people. I've done a lot of that before in the past. I went out with groups of people. Sometimes we walk together. Sometimes it's just, by myself, and they're by themselves as well. I think my daughter came with me a bunch of times, or my son Caleb. Yeah, so there's, you could do that. But what I wanted to mention, though, you can get a map, and if you want to cover areas and you be able to mark it down. Okay, I've done this area before. Next time I'm going to do this area, or whatever. You want to plan it out. Print off a map. You can do that, but also I've talked about this so many times before. This is the Runkeeper app. Here, let me just... I've talked about this many times before. I want to come up with my own app. I've talked about that in another couple of videos, but this is on a different device, so I don't have like a whole bunch of stuff on here. I don't think I have anything walking wise on this particular device, but I'll just go here. This is my 40th birthday on June 2nd, 2024. I took my bike and I started in Sturgeon Bay, and I biked up to a certain area and then back. I wanted to bring my gospel tracts with me and place them in newspaper boxes. So I'm talking about door to door, but just pretend that this is like, it's the same thing. I mean, it has a map for you. I mean, you can zoom in all the way and you can find out like what streets you've covered, and you can accumulate these files on your Runkeeper app. So here, let's just go somewhere completely different, like within the city somewhere. So say you're in Sturgeon Bay, it will detail for you. You can zoom in like all the way. Look at all those houses. So like this area I covered in newspaper boxes, but anyway, on the street, curbside delivery. But it'll have that same blue line like over here and across the street if you were to do that and whatever. So you can document where you've been. So it's pretty cool, and it's kind of an encouragement to see like, oh, as you go through your different things, like, oh, we've covered like this entire city. Isn't that awesome? So, just to kind of help motivate you to get the gospel out even more. So, yeah, that was a good bike ride that day. Did about 70-ish miles, I think it was, up to this one gas station up here and back. And then I took a different way back, actually. But, yeah, good times. So I don't think I have anything else on here. That's a great way, though. Maybe have multiple people use the app or whatever, and then have like a master map where you can mark down where you have been with all those people. What's this one? Oh, Tracting in Appleton North. So again, this is like for biking purposes. I would park somewhere, take my bike, and this is like all curbside delivery. Don't go into people's mailboxes. And that's even with door-to-door delivery. Don't leave stuff in people's mailboxes. You're really technically not supposed to do that. So like when I do curbside stuff, I leave it in their newspaper boxes. But I would really love to come up with an app that can be used by many people where you can upload your data. So whoever has the app can go, on a map thing like this, and they can see what parts of the United States have been covered with the gospel. And I have so many ideas for that app, but I need somebody to help me with making an app, and hopefully it's like cheap or free, but yeah, I don't know if that's going to be possible. But anyway, so that's kind of the basic gist of it. It really is simple, but my advice to you is really just to go out there and do it. Experiment with, whatever works best for you. Get some good tracks. What might work best for that would probably be a heavier booklet tract. And you can put it in a door hanging bag or a sandwich bag, like I said. All right, so I found one of my favorites from Ray Comfort right here. It's How to Be Free from the Fear of Death tract. It's a booklet tract, but you can buy quite a few of them for not too much. You can put that in a door hanging bag or sandwich bag, whatever. Sandwich bags are super cheap. So, yeah. Trying to think of some noteworthy funny story, but I do have, if I didn't mention this, if you go back to my list of videos on my channel and click on oldest videos, it's like the first 10 or so, maybe 15 videos, I'll have some examples of me going around at least doing the exit movie flyer, which is this right here, and you can see how simple it is. And since from that point when I made this YouTube channel 2017 till now, I have other videos of doing door to door. There's a story, I know I made a video about this too while I was delivering door to door in that same area, but there is a story. I'd like to share this one. So some of you know that I'm a letter carrier. That's what I do for a job, a mailman. And there's this one section in Manitowoc where I was delivering. It's by, I think it's Washington Junior High, and it's on South 23rd Street, if I'm remembering correctly. Right by, if you know the area, it's a one-sided, or homes are only on one side, and then the other side you got the school and then the football field and all that. I used to run for like track and cross country over there. Not cross country, but track, and that's where the high school. Anyway, this side stuff, that's not important unless you live here. But anyway, it's a one-way street, or one side street with homes. I was delivering mail. Get to the story, and I was following behind these two ladies who were Jehovah's Witnesses. They were leaving. I don't know if they're. I think they knocked on a couple of doors, but they're basically leaving their Watchtower magazine. And one of them was younger. One of them was much older. You could tell that the younger one was more new at doing this, because she's like exclaiming to herself, "Oh wow, this is really easy." And the other lady's like, "Yeah, I know, right?" And it was a joyous thing for them to have that discussion and to be able to be doing this. And I was right behind them. I was kind of walking slow, and I heard that. And there's two other people like further down, and there was one person driving. And I always get kind of like bummed out when I see Mormons out there or the Jehovah's Witnesses, because they're doing a lot of the more like adventurous stuff in getting the gospel out. And Mormons especially do a lot of stuff. I see them out there all the time, and that's a whole other side thing, especially if Mormons, they really put their hand to the plow and do the work. But the point is that they don't have the Holy Spirit, they're not saved, they're delivering a false message, and on I could go. But we have the Holy Spirit, that we're supposed to, and we should be passionate about getting the gospel out. But I feel like that a lot of times that the Christian does less to passionately get the gospel out, and yet those that don't have the Holy Spirit are exclaiming how easy something is. Now, yeah, I understand that doing something door to door is more nerve-wracking, and I do know that, oh yeah, that's part of their salvation, is to knock on doors and whatever, because they're works-based salvation. Yeah, I get that, but we have even a better reason to serve Christ and get the gospel out. We care about these people. Like, why can't we do something even beyond what they're doing with their false message and no Holy Spirit and all that stuff? We should be able to, circumnavigate the anxiety and the fear and all that stuff, and still be able to do it anyway. Does that make sense? Anyway, I just find it funny that they're talking about how easy it was, and it is easy. Like, again, I've never had an experience that like stop me from doing any of this stuff, like anything I've done. And even if you have one bad experience, it's one bad experience, whoop-de-doo, right? And there's other things you can do when you're doing door to door. You can strike up a conversation. You can even knock on someone's door and do it that way. I've done a little bit of that before, but you don't have to if you just want to leave gospel tracts. Go with a group. Like I said, it's a lot easier to calm the nerves if you're really nervous about it. I'm just trying to think of, was there ever a time when something happened, I got really nervous? There were some pretty cool times. Like one time we went, was it New London or somewhere else? I want to say it was New London in Wisconsin. Me and a couple of friends of mine, we did just this. We had a bunch of door hangers made up and ready to go, and we went out. And it wasn't me, it was my friends that I went with, so I can't speak on like from my experience of what the guy said. But there was one guy that was like super blessed because they were there to give him the gospel. I can't remember what it was, but it was pretty cool. It was really awesome. You'll have stories like that. And man, I know I do have some of those too, but I just can't think of it at the moment. But you will have that. Just go out there and have an adventure, get the gospel out. It is worth it. You're gonna have a lot of fun, even though it's not really about the fun, but you're gonna have fun. Why not have both? So yeah, I think that's it. If you have any questions, send those down below, and hopefully I'll be able to answer those for you. Just trying to think, is there any last minute detail, any last thing I want to say? Let me pause it and think about it for a second. No, can't really think of anything. Here, let me show you more time. I think this one right here might have been with a batch of this Why Christianity booklet that I got back in 2013, late 2013. Pull this out. The reason why I remember that is because, and not that I haven't used this tract before, because I have, before then, and well, a lot even after, but I wanted to get one to my grandparents, especially because my grandpa was passing away from cancer at that time, and it was around Christmas time, hence the Christmas eBay. I think I kept a couple of these just for memory of that moment, but yeah, I left one at their door because I really wanted, it's kind of hard it was hard back then to share with them, and challenges with that, but just something else as well. I wanted to get this into their hands, and so they got it, and I don't really know what the end result of that was, but I'm just happy to have done that. So I just wanted to share that personal story. Maybe somebody that you love, you want to just get that one gospel tract out to that person. Well, you can do that by leaving it at their door, perhaps. You don't have to knock or anything, just leave it there and take off. And if they have a Ring camera, well, I don't know, maybe you can sneak up to the side or something, wear a mask, I don't know, and just toss it on their front door. I don't know, but, or actually, you know what you could do is just go with a bunch of people and have your friend go to the house of the person that you love and you don't want them to know it's you or whatever, or send them a letter, an anonymous letter. That's a whole other way to get the gospel out, but I'll talk about that another time. Actually, I already have talked about that in my 300th video not too long ago, but yeah, so yeah, again, these are just some options, and hope you guys utilize some of them. Just get the gospel out. Whatever you do, just do something, okay? Check out any of my videos from the past, and I'm sure you'll be inspired to do one of those things. So God bless. I don't think there's anything else, and we'll talk to you later.